More to come on that investigation. Meantime, the New York City Council planning to review new police reform measures this week, and cops are not happy about it at all. The president of the police union in New York, Patrick Lynn, says, quote, "These pieces of legislation have been proposed by individuals who have neither the expertise nor the experience to establish policy in the dangerous business of fighting crime." The new policies include requiring uniformed police officers to provide their full names, rank, and precinct. Plus, officers must provide the phone number of the Citizens Complaint Review Board during any traffic stop or property search. Are the police union's concerns warranted here? Now let's bring in former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Kerik to talk about these new policies and the end of that manhunt in upstate New York. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so what do you think about these new measures that are being proposed in New York City?
Look, you know, I don't think the police department can do any more in having oversights than they have now. They have the mayor's office, Department of Investigations. They have an inspector general. They have an internal affairs bureau. They're oversighted beyond anything I think any other department in this country has. All this new stuff that the city council is now talking about, it's stuff that already exists. Now it's just another method or a mechanism for an officer to have to give it to someone. My concern is, you know what? All this stuff is available to the New York City public, to the general public. God forbid, you know, an officer goes up and stops somebody, he doesn't give it to him. Administratively, they can punish him. You know what? There's enough oversights. I think this is just, they're going way overboard. I don't think it's necessary.
It does seem like a lot for a police officer who is in the, you know, you think about that attack, the hatchet attack recently in New York City, where the cops were able to get and address the situation properly. But are these the types of situations, Bernie, where they're going to have to run up to somebody and start making some proclamation about who they are, where they come from, who the suspect can call? Don't they have enough on their minds already?
Well, look, the majority of police officers in New York City are in uniform. The uniforms are easily identifiable. The shields have an enormous number on them. You could see them very clearly. Under the shield is a name, the officer's name. I think that's plenty to stand there and have to give some proclamation, who you are, what precinct, what phone number. I think it's getting way out of hand. And you know, a lot of this stuff is politically driven by people trying to get their names in the paper. Yeah, and these city council members certainly seem to be politically motivated at this point. Let's talk a little bit more about those two inmates who were captured over the weekend. 49-year-old Richard Matt was shot and killed on Friday about 27 miles northwest of the prison that he escaped from. His autopsy, released just yesterday, showed that he had been shot 3 times. His partner, 35-year-old David Sweat, was taken into custody later, yesterday, near the Canadian border. He was shot twice. Are you surprised at all about the measures taken to get these 2 guys in police custody, dead or alive? No. Look, first of all, an escapee, anybody held within the custody of the State Department of Correction, when they're in the process of an escape, the officers can't use deadly force to stop them. In this case, that's what happened in both circumstances. I think Sweat, in itself, yesterday, I think he should be happy to be alive. Yeah. And if you notice, the officers went out of their way to keep him alive. Right. Once he was shot, administering first aid, getting him to the hospital. They really did a good job on stopping him and getting him medical treatment. And I also want to talk, too, about this police sergeant, because this, to me, seems pretty incredible here, but also probably something we should expect from a state police officer. Acting alone here, despite the immense manhunt you had going on, you have one guy confronting the suspect, or the convicted killer, in this case, Sweat. Great police work by Jay Cook, was it not? Yeah, I mean, here he is. He's on routine patrol, driving down the highway, and sees a guy jogging. Appears to be Sweat. Calls out to him, attempts to stop him. Sweat takes off, and he basically got him stopped before he got into the woods. And the density of those woods up around the area where they were, if he would have gotten into the woods, there's a good chance they may not have found him afterward, at least for a while. So he did his job. He was on his own. He should be highly commended. I think the governor was right when he called him a hero. And I think you have to commend every member of the state police, the Department of Corrections, the federal warrant people, and fugitive squads that were out there. This was a dogged determination to get these guys, and it paid off.
Yeah, sometimes, or actually so many times rather, it just takes the good police work of one individual to resolve something like this. And rarely are these things black and white, but I think we got a black and white case here where you can tip your hat to the good guy, Sergeant Jay Cook, in this case. Bernie Kerik, thanks so much for being with us. Always great to see you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, former NYPD Commissioner Bernie Kerik, also the author of From Jailer to Jail. We'll have more coming up here on Newsmax Now.